I don't know, I can't control it. I'm tired.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the September 19th, 2022 Crest Hill City Council meeting to order. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and please remain standing after the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approximately 2 weeks ago, the city of Crest Hill lost a longtime, well-respected resident. Betty Pavlich passed away, 89 years old. She was involved with the formation of the city of Crest Hill back in 1960. She was one of our top volunteers, never had to be asked, but always volunteered for anything that needed to be done within the city. Most recently, she was on her and her husband Vic, who was our longtime Deputy Liquor Commissioner, served with the Crest Hill Veterans and Police Memorial Committee for about the last 20 years also. She passed away. She had a long battle, but she's finally reunited with her husband. So we certainly want to extend our gratitude to her for all her service and her volunteerism over the years. We want to extend our condolences to her daughter Sharon and to her son Bill. And I would ask for a moment of silence in the memory of Betty Pavlich. Thank you. Roll call, please, Chris.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Glenn Conklin.
Present.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
John Vershey.
Here.
Darrell Jefferson. Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin.
Present.
Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert.
Here.
And Joe Kubal.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, we do not have a business promotion this evening, so we'll proceed with the agenda items. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the City Council meeting held on September 6, 2022. Motion would be in order.
So moved. So moved.
I'll second it.
We have motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderman Vershey for the approval of the minutes of the September 6, 2022 City Council meeting. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Vershey.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
And Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
We also have before you the approval of the minutes from the work session held on September 12, 2022. Motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
We have motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the approval of the September 12th work session minutes. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
John Vershey.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Abstain.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our city attorney, Mike Steff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have any agenda items this evening. Of course, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of city attorney? All right, thanks, Mike. Our city administrator, Jim Marino. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have 3 items on the agenda for you tonight. The first one is a change order for work that's being done at the City Center. These are for items that were discussed at our previous meeting back in July when we amended the appropriation ordinance to account for additional work that needed to be done. We brought previous change orders to you, and these are 2 others. One is for Cosgrove Construction for carpentry work. The other one is for D. Kersey for window, door access, and security. So these need to be approved tonight. I can answer any questions you may have, and we have Sean Thompson from Harbor Contractors here as well to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
I do. Is any of this work
to be done, outlined in your memo, work that was already done and needed to be redone for one reason or another? Or is this all completely new construction? I'm not sure. Can you answer that?
Yeah. If I understand the question correctly, these were all for the supplementary items, so these were all the additional works that was part of that, I think it was like $850,000 list of, I think there was like 60 or 62 items.
It was a punch list.
Right. Well, it wasn't really a punch list, but it was
Well-
items that needed to be done after meeting with all the city heads and everybody visiting the facility. So this is just keeping that going, keeping that, getting through. A lot of change orders, right, so I apologize, it's taking me some time to get them all through.
But can you speak to if any of this work was redoing work that was already done? And it was identified during the walk around?
I'm just trying to understand what you mean by redoing. It's not like punch list work, it's not correcting any issues with work, but it may be redoing work just in the standpoint of, for one example, we wanted a larger window at the front desk. So the window was in, but we're redoing it in a sense, but it's a change. I don't know
Are
if that
you talking
answered-
about the handicap accessible window?
Yeah, yes.
So you were adding a window?
Correct.
But that
Well,
was-
we're modifying it and making it bigger and adding the ADA.
That
Well,
was
there
done
was no
to-
window there.
That was done to make it more beneficial and more useful.
Correct, as
It
well as
wasn't-
to
it
meet the
wasn't-
ADA
Well,
requirement.
it
I
had
guess-
to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the
So it had to be
redoing
there.
or punch list items, that's all separate work that's being tracked and done by the trades.
This is
That
the
they're-
work session
And we're
that
not
we
being
had.
charged for,
Okay.
sorry?
This is all is coming from that work session that we had where all this council sat here. We sat 2 meetings and we went over it.
Yes.
Where it was like must,
Right,
maybe.
correct, the high,
It has
medium,
the
and
high,
low
medium, and
items.
the low, and we all agreed on it.
Yes,
last
absolutely
week.
correct.
That's where this
what
coming
these
from.
are for.
Correct.
That's correct.
And that list you're referring to is in the packet that was included. So the items in the change order refer to the items in the packet, which is starts on page 31.
So move as presented.
Second.
Would you recommend these be separate motions?
Yes.
Okay. There was a motion to, on number 3. Nate? Cosgrove?
Approve the change order with Cosgrove
Okay.
Construction in the amount of $110,895.
Or who made the second?
I did.
Second.
All right,
Claudia.
we have a motion for approval of a change order with Cosgrove Construction Corporation, the amount of $110,895. Motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Ken Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, I would ask for a motion to approve a change order with D. Kersey in the amount of $26,727.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Dyke for the approval of the change order with D. Kersey. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Ken Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, the next item pertains to landscaping at the city center. During a recent walk-around of the building and reviewing the landscape plans, Mark raised some, questions and concerns about the amount of maintenance for a lot of the landscaping. And the landscaping we're talking about primarily is on the west and north sides of the building. Much of that is planned to be grass, which is going to require a lot of maintenance, a lot of hand cutting, using trimmers, of course, fertilizing it, weeding it. So in walking through the areas and talking about it, we thought it might be best to change out a lot of that grass where we can, especially in the small areas, and replace them either with just rocks or plantings that are low-maintenance plantings. So it'd be less time and effort for Public Works. Some of the areas wouldn't be appropriate to put landscaping anyway, for instance, around the air conditioning units. It called for grass. It may not grow there well, and it'd be hard to get to and cut, so it makes sense to put rock there, put stone.
Yeah.
And then on the islands and the parking lots, those can easily get weeds. It'd be easier to put some, stones down and maybe some bushes and plantings that are low maintenance. So that's what we presented here tonight. Mark spent a lot of time working on this. He put together the landscape plan, color-coded, that you have in your packet with the highlights of what he's recommending in the different areas. And then he also included photos of the types of landscape materials, trees, grasses, and shrubs. So with that, Mark or I can answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
I have one concern with the lilac bushes. Those can kind of grow out of hand, and you gotta stay on top of them because they can really overtake
Yeah.
and grow quite large.
I went and looked at a few in some people's yards. I actually have to put this in. But those, I put lilac bushes or something similar. I'm gonna consult with the fields. They're right across the street. I was more going for the look, and that's the only thing I could think of.
Well, they might have a dwarf
They may
variety.
have something
Yeah.
that is a dwarf version or something that looks like it and doesn't grow very tall. But I would consult, even with the arborvitaes, they may have a different type of arborvitae that grows better or worse in the sun or the shade. There's so many different types of different plants out there. But it was more for the look, to give you guys an idea of what the look would be comparatively to what the actual name of the plant would be.
And the green dots, you said these are the arborvitae?
The green dots are the arborvitae. Those would be going around to block the generator.
Yeah, because they get humongous,
Right.
as you know from my
Yes,
backyard.
so the generator is in an open location, and you look out the main conference room and you see the generator. So just to provide some screening, but also to provide a little bit of hiding of that generator from the public.
Just don't put them too close.
No, and everything we do is gonna be with maintenance in mind, as we're the ones who are gonna be maintaining the generators. We're gonna be maintaining a lot of the infrastructure in the back there, so a lot of this is being done with maintenance in mind, and it's long-term maintenance, not just short-term maintenance.
I understand the want to change to something more low maintenance. That makes a lot of sense. Have you, or could you possibly, when you consult with the fields on some of these plantings, possibility of incorporating some native plantings, since we are right next to the forest preserve there? And it
Absolutely.
would kind of be in keeping with the natural surroundings of
Yeah,
the
and
building?
when we, so a lot of these plants we got from what's in front, so we were trying to match kind of what's in the front of the building. But if there's something that's like this that is native to the area that would match the look from the field, I would lean towards native because it's going to grow better and help out the environment. So,
Okay, thank you, Mark.
no problem.
So the only thing that we're pretty much gonna be getting it from Tim Walsh is the rock then?
The rock, and then they have the bigger rolls of weed fabric. They have the 300 footers and the 500 footers.
But I mean, as far as plantings, we're gonna be getting most of that stuff from the fields then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'd rather go right across the street,
Right,
same soil.
right, oh yeah.
Tim Wallace have a good selection, that's what I get mine.
Yep.
But I agree with you, Scott, it's, especially in the parking lot, you don't wanna cover cars and
Right,
for
right.
safety as well.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Sapiti, for the approval to purchase landscape materials for the city center building at a cost not to exceed $40,000. Any more questions or comments? Roll call.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes,
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, and the last item I have for you is a change order with Tech Life LLC. This is for security work that they've done at the building. This one's a little confusing to explain because much of this work has already been done, and what we're asking you to do is kind of clean up work in the sense that the council didn't originally approve all of these. We discovered that. It took a while to kind of sort through all the documents and figure out what was what. Finally got it together, and it's just a matter of approving a change order for the work that's already been performed. As I indicated in my memo, the initial contract with them was approved in May of 2021, and then additional work was done subsequent to that. Much of it has already been completed. So what we're talking about here is installation of the security cameras, the software for video monitoring, configuring the software, consulting for the setup and configuration, also the door access controllers, where we can have keyless door access and control access to different areas of the building. So all of that work was performed by Tech Life. In addition to, we purchased the equipment through them. And as I said, most of this work was done, and that's what's being asking you to approve tonight. There is some work that still remains, some installation of cameras, some final configurations. The amount we have for that is $159,337.41. Now, as I indicated here, some of the work hasn't been done because we haven't received all the equipment yet. We did not receive all the security cameras, and that's primarily because of supply chain issues and shortages. So as those are arriving, they're being installed. So that's much of what the remaining work needs to be performed. Again, most of this has already been expended, so the money's already been spent. So we're not asking you to approve or spend additional amount of this change order of $492,000 because that work's already been performed. So it's not an additional amount that we have to expend. That's already been approved. The additional amount is the work that's remaining is that $159,000, but that will be covered under the contingency amount. So when we talked about what was approved earlier by Cosgrove and D. Kersey, that was part of that discussion back on July. And in that list I had mentioned, and that list also included a contingency for unknowns. For circumstances like this was an unknown at the time. We've discovered it, we figured it out. So the amount we have to pay to finish out this work for Tech Life will be paid out of that contingency that was already approved by the council.
How much was that contingency?
Roughly a million?
Yeah.
About $1 million?
The original contingency was
Oh, no,
$1 million.
the entire project.
Correct. And we've actually added to that as we presented other items. I built in contingency to 850 as well.
I just want to thank you for responding to all my email chain today and explaining, because it was a little confusing, but I appreciate that you took the time and explained.
Yeah, and it's understandably confusing because it was confusing for
Yes.
us to try to sort through all of this.
Yeah, thank you.
Motion would be in order.
Second.
Motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, to approve a change order with Tech Life LLC as was explained. I'll just say for the difference of $159,337.41. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche,
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, anything else, Jim?
No, that's all I have.
Any questions of City Administrator?
Yeah, just wondered to go back and maybe refresh my memory a little bit, but the water damage we suffered with the sprinkler and that and the insurance companies, all that stuff been finalized yet? Where are we at with it? Have we, got any, like with the sprinkler, head company, if they are gonna assume some of the cost or what's going on? Where are we
Well,
at?
all the cost is covered by our insurance company. So we received so far $180,000 towards the cost, and then they will pick up any remaining cost that we have. So we'll be fully covered by the insurance company. The wood floors in the police station that had to be removed because there were water damage, those have been replaced. The carpet tiles in the council chambers have not been installed yet because they're still in the process of constructing the dais. So once the dais is done, they would be able to finish that out and put the carpet tiles in. All the equipment's been ordered though, it's just not ready for installation yet. And then the one area is the vestibule, and that's the area where the sprinkler had discharged that damaged all the drywall. So the drywall has to be removed and replaced. That's scheduled to start next week.
But the sprinkler head company's not assuming any responsibility for any of the damages, the faultiness of it or anything?
No, I'm still waiting for the final report from the insurance company. They did take the sprinkler head that was discharged, and they had an engineer look at it. We had an engineer, they assigned an engineer to come out on site. They looked at the facility and the system. We provided them all the documents they wanted, and I'm still waiting for their final written report.
All right, thank you.
And I think we'll be covered by insurance if the insurance company chooses to sue the sprinkler.
Okay,
Right.
On
all right,
our damage on this stuff.
right. I was just curious, been a while since heard anything, and I was just wanting a little refresher. Thank you.
Yeah, and Jim, I apologize for being late. With the city center, do you anticipate any more costs like what just came up with Tech Life or any other contractor that's on site?
I can only tell you what we know and not what we don't know. There may be other items that crop up that we don't know. I can't guarantee that there won't be. Hopefully there won't be. I think we've discovered, quite a bit. There will be some additional work for signage, and I mentioned that in the information I presented previously. We need signage for the exterior of the building and also the interior of the building. So it will be directional signs so the public knows where to go for different areas, and internal signs for the offices and that type of thing. And still getting a price for that. That's the only other one that I can think of right now, but there may be others that come up. There is one more change order, I think, that you still have, that we, for the cabinets, I believe.
Yeah, I have two more change orders that I know will be coming up, but that's all part of the already approved supplementary items in that whole $850 amount. So one is another one for Cosgrove, only because we had to do engineering to figure out the window size, which has already been done. Now that we know what we can do, he's getting us an actual final number, so that'll be his. And then we have to rework those cabinets in the
Clerk's office.
the clerk and yes, thank you, the clerk and utility office. So those are the last two as part of that. That should be the finals for that those items, which I will be very happy to have the last two change orders for that whole long list done.
None of those are out of budget, right?
No.
Those are all within the.
No, in fact, we're under budget from that original $850 that we projected.
So when is moving then, you think?
The unfortunate part is it's really hard for me to say. I am thinking just after the first of the year, like January, February at this moment. I know that's probably not what anybody wants to hear, because I know we really wanted to get in by the end of the year. But just realistically, with everything, I'm waiting on everything right now. I've been told for weeks that, asphalt's gonna happen or concrete's gonna happen, which is holding up landscaping, which is holding up, asphalt. So it's kind of a domino effect. And but we're pushing everybody to get out there. Things are actually moving. The dais stud construction and the substructure for that is actually up and done. Most of the electric, as far as chaseways, are done in there. Now things are starting to kind of finally start moving and getting going. There are some items we're waiting on that has some lead times with them, and I'm kind of at the mercy of when things come. And what really kind of is unfair for me at this moment is not many people are hitting their delivery dates. And it's not the trades, it's the suppliers. And we're being told 4 weeks and it comes in 8. We're being, I don't like to say we're gonna do something until I have the materials anymore, because I just don't know. I can't. I'm almost making a false promise if I do, because the hit record hasn't been very good at them coming on the date they say they're going to. I mean, we're on 4 different dates for the cameras. And it's not like they moved it out like a week or two. They moved it out several months each time. So, I mean, that's just what we're dealing with.
You and the rest of the world.
Yes, listen, this is every project I got 7 projects going right now. This is every project I'm dealing. It's just how it is. I wish I had something better to say. It does seem like it's starting to get better, but that's not helping our situation where we're at right now, unfortunately.
And one thing we certainly don't know is the cost of materials and supplies. So it's possible by the time we get the asphalt installed, the cost for the asphalt may be higher than what we originally planned.
I thought we had a contract for that, it's not.
Well, that contract was approved
in 2020.
2020.
There's been 5 increases to asphalt since then. which they haven't
Is that
charged us for.
perpetual?
Yeah, just a little. So,
Okay.
I mean, I would be very surprised if we didn't get an increase when we go to do the asphalt, but it would only be for materials. There's no, they're not increasing the labor, but they're kind of stuck on the materials. And it's a legitimate ask if they ask for it.
Well, the price of stone went up for asphalt anyway, so it's gonna be an increase.
Stone went up, asphalt went up quite a bit. Yeah. I mean, asphalt about a year ago, you know, we were at still around 38 to 40 bucks a square yard. We're at 63 right now. It's a pretty significant increase.
Okay. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Jim. All right, moving on, Public Works Department. Our Director of Public Works, Mark Seifer. Good evening, Mark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have no agenda items for you this evening, but I'm happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Questions of Public Works?
I do. So I have a request that I wanted to bring here to the council, but talking with Mark and Ron about a little situation that we have the diocese. I would like to direct the engineer and Public Works Department to reach out to the Diocese of Joliet at 16555 Weber Road to discuss and try to address the concerns of the resident of the condition of algae growth in the two small ponds located just east of the main pond located behind the church and west of Boreal Drive. It is my understanding that these ponds are functioning as designed to handle stormwater flow, which meant current city ordinance, but the appearance of the heavy growth of algae is not visual appealing.
We can, we've been out there a couple times. We'll definitely go back out, make contact with them. As you mentioned, the storms are doing, the ponds are doing what they're meant to do. They're working properly for stormwater removal. City ordinance just doesn't give us the teeth to go after algae growth. We can definitely try to work with the property owner on some solutions.
I will appreciate that. So now that we have it like as in a formal meeting, hope the diocese will
Yeah, we definitely.
we'll stop saying that they didn't get enough money this year.
I will definitely, me and Ron will meet on this tomorrow morning, and I know it was our plan to get out there together this week.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Mayor?
Yep,
Can I go back to one item?
sure.
The item for Tech Life,
Yes.
I just want to make sure that the correct amount was approved. I don't know that the correct amount was stated in the motion.
I did not. I said the difference. I gave the difference number of the 157,
159.
as you explained it.
Okay, well, it should be, the amount that we're asking, the change order amount is the
492?
492, right.
Okay.
Was me,
Who made that motion?
You made the motion?
she made the motion.
Claudia made the motion, Tina seconded it.
With
I'll
that,
make that part of my motion. For, what is it?
to the second?
$492,505.21.
Do we
I
need
will
another roll call?
second that with that.
Do we need another roll call or no?
So, no, I got a question. The 492,505 is, that different what was budgeted, or the increase up to is the 159,337, the difference that makes it up to 492?
Well, the 492 is the amount that's already been paid. So we're just approving for the work that's already been done. The difference, which is that 159,337, is the work that still needs to be completed.
So I don't understand why we have to go on the whole amount if it's been approved already and we're not voting only on the 159. Does it make sense?
Well, the 159 is part of the contingency,
Okay.
and the contingency was approved. The 492 was not approved. So that's what, we're kind of going back and kind of,
Cleaning up.
finishing up the paperwork that, we found that
Okay.
wasn't completed.
Another roll call?
Yes.
All right.
Just so we've got it clear. So
Okay.
the motion's been amended to make it 492,505.21
5.
for It's been seconded, so let's do another roll call.
Yeah, I thought I said the difference as it was explained during Jim's
But
report.
you gave the 159.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, another roll call then.
And it was Claudia, you're still, and then Tina seconding.
Yes, ma'am.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Rashay.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
And Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, all right. City engineer, he has no report this evening. Community development, Tony is on a vacation day, will be back tomorrow if you need to talk to him. Police department, our police chief, Ed Clark. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I have two items on the agenda this evening. Both are police services contracts. The first contract is with Siegel's Cottonwood Farm. It's for their Pumpkin Fest. The dates in the contract are October 9th, 15th, 16th, 22nd, and 23rd. It's for 2 officers and 2 vehicles. We've done this in the past. It will be a lot earlier this year because of not having the haunted house. So I'd be seeking the approval for that contract.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin, for the approval of special events police services contract with Siegel's Cottonwood Farm. Questions or comments?
Yeah, Chief, just looking at some of the dates here, and he's not going to have you out there on the weekend before Halloween, the 28th, 9th, and 30th? It hasn't had that, and if I told them if they wanted to add it, we had to come back to City Council. All right, and then also the times from 1 PM to like 6 PM-ish. What time are they closing, earlier now?
Probably 6, but if it's still letting out at 6:15, 6:20, you know, they probably want the
Okay,
officers
just wanting to
clear
make
them out.
sure that, you know, they're not open to 10 or anything like that.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So you adjust the billing, I'm assuming, based on when the officers are leaving?
Correct.
That-
It'd be whatever hours they started and whatever hours they completed. Correct.
So it's not just 5 hours and it will last till 7 or 8, clearing up?
No, whatever hours they work, they will be billed for.
All right, thank you.
Chief, can I ask you a question? We had a contract with him for so many years to meet the park next door in front of the home. Is that contract up already or what?
Contract for,
We used to use the front of that house back there, we used to use that for parking. And we had a contract for about 5 years or 6 years with him. That after so many years, he's not gonna be able to park in front of the house anymore.
I believe there is going to be some discussion on that in the future. As far as there were several different contracts that had gone into effect over the years, but there will be discussion with them. What we were thinking about is after this event, since it's so close, and we'll make sure that they abide by that end date, correct?
You see that, he parks on the grass over there and all that, and you can't do that. And we gave him 5 or 6 years to do it. And I think that's up pretty darn quick.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Huh?
maybe.
It might have been last year, was the last year.
I'm not
Right.
sure.
You can't park in front of the building no more.
Right, what we talked about doing is after this event season is done, so probably in November, we'll reach out to them and talk about getting this corrected for next year.
We had the contract signed 5, 6 years ago.
Excuse me 1 second.
This year is done.
Excuse me, John. They can't hear you at the cable room. Can you put your microphone, you just text? And so as you, both of you.
We gave a contract 5, 6 years, I don't remember how long, just for 5 years it was. And at that time, that was the last one. He's not, after that, he's not allowed to park in front of the house any longer. So if we broke the contract, shame on us. But you gotta look that up first.
Well, and that's, we know we have to do that, and that was something we started looking at, determining he may need a special use permit unless he decides to asphalt the property. We need to sit down and talk with him and give him the options, and he's gonna have to do one or the other.
He doesn't own that house. A different person owns that house. He uses the front yard all the time for parking.
Okay.
That's a different area.
I'm not.
Are you talking about the Stonebreak property?
Pardon me?
Are you talking about the Stonebreaker property?
Yes.
I think that Paul is claiming that he has purchased that on a contract basis.
I don't know about
That's his
that.
position at least, so that's one of the things that we're gonna be looking into.
But that's a front yard to that home.
I understand, it's
You can't do that,
adjacent.
you're not supposed to be doing that. We let them do it for a number of years, I think just 15 years or something, we built that park over there. And we said, listen, we gotta come to them one of these days, you know, it's not legal. So we gave them 5 years to do it.
Okay,
I don't
we
know
are
when the 5 years is up, I don't
We
remember.
will be meeting with them after the fall season here, correct?
Yes.
And then the discussions will be held there and will be brought back to city council.
Right.
Okay, roll call, please.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Rashay,
I gotta abstain, I have to know when that contract comes due.
Darrell Jefferson,
I'm with John, I'll abstain until we get the contract.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Thank you. The next item I have on the agenda this evening is for the trick or treat for Caroline Lakes HOA. It's on October 23rd from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. And this is another one that we've approved in the past, so I'd be seeking approval.
So moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Albert for the approval of a special events police service contract between the city of Crest Hill and the Caroline Lakes HOA for trick or treating on October 23rd. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Rashay.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti, Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
That's all I have this evening. I'd be willing to entertain any questions.
Any questions of the police chief? All right, thanks, Ed. Moving on to mayor's report, I have no agenda items this evening. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. Hearing none, we'll move on to the city clerk's report. Our city clerk, Christine Verche Hall.
Thank you. The only thing I have is the public announcement that the 2023 consolidated election candidate packets will be available starting tomorrow, Tuesday, September 20th. Residents will be voting for one alderperson per each ward. They are available in the city clerk's office Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And that's all I have to report.
Any questions of city clerk? All right, thanks, Chris. Moving on to our city treasurer's report, our city treasurer, Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have two agenda items, only one requiring action, and that is I seek a motion to approve our list of bills from September 8th, 2022 through September 20th, 2022. The amount totals $950,594.51.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Overland, seconded by Alderman Jefferson. Questions or comments on the motion for the approval of the list of bills? Roll call.
John Rashay.
Yes.
Darrell Jefferson.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
I thank you all for that. I'd like to report, in that same, in a different time frame, August 29th, 2022 through September 11th of 2022, our regular and overtime payroll in that period totaled $251,037.79. That does not require any action on the board's part. Other than that, I'll entertain any questions.
Questions of city treasurer? All right, thanks, Glenn.
Thank you and good night.
Unfinished business, we have nothing. Anyone? New business? Committee liaison reports, anybody? City council comments, positive city council comments, anything you'd like to share with your constituents? We'll begin with Ward 1 this evening. Alderman Dyke.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Verche.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Jefferson.
Nothing at this time.
Alderwoman Gazal.
I would like to announce that the pop-up food pantry, it's going to be moved to November 5th at the White Oak Crest Hill Library. It will be November 5th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this is a collaboration with Aurora Health Food and Calvary Church. So spread the word and see who needs help. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderperson Oberlin.
Well, on a personal note, I want to wish my wonderful, lovely son a happy 32nd birthday this week. The apple of my eye. So, happy birthday, dude.
Alderman Sapiti.
Well, I'd like to wish him a happy birthday as well.
Thank you.
Other than that, I have nothing further. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderman Albert.
Nothing at this time, Mayor.
Alderman Kubal.
Nothing additional, Mayor.
Okay, public comment. Anyone like to address City Council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Your address is optional. Let the record show that no one has approached the podium. To our city attorney, Mike, there is a need for an executive session.
Yes, there is. Under 5 ILCS 122C5, purchase or lease of real property, including discussing whether to acquire a certain parcel.
Motion would be in
So
order.
moved as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Albert, for an executive session for 2C5 for the purchase or lease of real property. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Darrell Jefferson,
Yes.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Burchett.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, we'll be going into executive session at 7:42 PM.